This is Main Street with Gary Allen. Now, here's Gary.
And hello, everybody, and how are you? I hope you've had an interesting week since the last time we talked, or the last time you turned in to one of our Main Street programs. In just a couple of weeks, we're going to start letting you know about another network that we're going to be on. It's going to be late on a Saturday or Friday night, but we're still going to be on there. It's DBTV, and I'm very excited about that. You can be able to pick up all the shows there. We're also going to be starting to transfer some of the shows over to Spotify, and also to you be able to get the YouTube channel. We're going to put that information up starting in a couple of weeks on this show all the time. We have a great show for you this afternoon, and let's get right to it. I would like to, first of all, though, thank the Japanese Garden for their considered and continued help. Excuse me, I can't talk today. For their continued support of this particular program through our executive producer, Mr. Rick Del Vecchio, and thank you very much for that. The Japanese Gardens, it's a great place to go right there on Dodge Island. They have a whole lot of fun. I think next month they have an event that we're going to be talking about coming up in the not-too-distant future. Today, we have two gentlemen joining us here today. The executive producer of this program, Mr. Rick Del Vecchio, and also the image consultant, image producer of this particular program, Mr. Alex Teixeira. You hear his voice all over Miami. And, of course, my producer on board and the producer of this particular program, Mr. Tommy Sitt. And the program that we're going to be doing today is a special program. It's brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Magicians, the Sid Burgeon, I hope I got that right, Ring 45 of South Miami, Coral Gables, and Elks Lodge 1676. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, is they're having a celebration, the Art of Magic, celebrating over 100 years of sharing the art of magic throughout the world. They're having a dinner and magic show and comedy show on top of that. It's this Saturday, the 21st of September at Elks Lodge 1676, which is located at 6304 Southwest 78th Street in Miami. Again, the Elks Lodge 1676. Admission is $55, and I believe the event starts around 7 o'clock. But on the bottom scroll here, you'll be able to see where you can go online at www.ring45.com/shop/ or you can use the QR code, or you can call 305-992-0703 for more information about this program. So without further ado, could we please have front and center Mr. Rick Del Vecchio and Mr. Alex Teixeira?
Hey, Gary, how you doing? How's it going?
I'm doing just fine. Did I get that right on the name? Sid
Bergson.
Bergson, yeah. I know I was going to get something wrong eventually.
That's okay.
Well, don't you?
For about 50 years, so he
Huh?
won't mind. He's been dead for about 50 years, but no.
Well, good for him. He's with the angels. He's singing with the angels. You guys are here, of course, and we're going to talk about magic throughout the program. But you're here because of what's going to happen this Saturday, and I believe it starts around 7 p.m., and that is celebrating 100 years of magic. So talk about that if you both want to, and I know that's why you're here, and talk about the events. We'll talk about the magicians that'll be performing, as well as the comedy. And on the bottom of the scroll, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to go online and buy your tickets there. There's also a QR code which will appear, as well as a phone number that eventually will appear, and Tommy will keep that rolling throughout the program.
Right.
Rick, it's your floor now.
You got it real quick, Tommy. It's .com. You got an N instead of an M. You can change the N to an M.
Oh,
it's
okay.
45.com/shop/. And it actually starts at 6 o'clock. From 6 to 7,
Okay.
there's strolling close-up magic, cocktails, and complimentary hors d'oeuvres. That'll happen in the Florida Lounge. Then at 7 o'clock, we go into the ballroom for a great dinner from exquisite caterers. It's chicken parmesan, meatball, baked ziti, Caesar salad, garlic bread, and the dessert. And then at 8 o'clock, a stage show featuring some top performers. As you mentioned, T.C. Tahoe. He's a 2-time Parlor Magician of the Year for the Magic Castle. And
Roger Ruiz.
Roger Ruiz. He is a from Cuba. He came from Cuba about 2 years ago. In Cuba, he started a Ring 45, a Magic International Brotherhood of Magicians ring in Cuba. That he was the first person to do that, and he was the first president. And ever since he's been in the United States, it's only been about 2.5 years. This year, just 2 months ago, in Tacoma, Washington,
Yeah.
he competed at the International Brotherhood of Magicians World Convention, which was held in Tacoma, Washington. And there's over 88 countries that have clubs, 15,000 magicians in 88 countries. And several of them perform to compete for the World Championship in stage magic. And Roger won. And he has a phenomenal act, and he'll be doing it at our convention, our mini convention this coming Saturday. And he's obviously a world champion. Todd Charles, the guy is hilarious. He's open for Michael Bublé, Kevin Hart, Ray Romano. He starred at several hotels in Vegas, and he's been on several TV shows, and he's been around a long time, but he's called the Moo Magician, and he does a fantastic, very unique, funny, and talented act. So it's going to be a great show. And like I said, for $55, you get a full sit-down dinner and a beautiful evening show. It's the best ticket, best deal in Miami. Let's put it
Now,
that way.
I think so too. Tommy, if you could go back in and please change that dot to .com instead of .con, please. I'd appreciate it very much. And you can put the QR code up there if you want, or the phone number, whichever you really want. Alex, not only are you the image guy for this particular program that we're on right now, but you are a voiceover actor all over South Florida. But what are you going to be doing at this event besides going and enjoying a great meal, which I am envious of?
Well, I'm the current president of Ring 45 in Miami, the International Brotherhood of Magicians Ring 45. So this year, I will not be performing. Maybe I'll be performing a little earlier in the bar because we have some close. Well, there's some close-up magic being done there. But we were,
you know, Alex, you know why I'm laughing, right? I mean, you got the inside straight on that.
Yes, but anyway, so there'll be some magic and stuff. Man, I'm a mentalist. You know, I do mind reading things, psychic entertainment type stuff. But I will not be performing this year. I will be the MC for the show. I might do an experiment or two in between acts, but mainly I'll be presenting the acts. I'll be talking about the event. I'll be introducing everybody, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing on the evening.
That's one something I think I've never asked Rick about, and Alex, I don't know if you know this, but I've known Rick 40 some years. Wow,
a long time.
We both had hair then, although Rick he shaves his on purpose. But what got you both excited about magic? I mean, were you very, very young? Was it Harry Houdini? Was it the magicians that you would see on TV back in the day? I mean, what was it that got you interested in magic to begin with?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you can.
All right. Well, you know, as kids, I think every kid at Christmas time got some kind of a magic set. And a lot of these kids just, you know, look at it, that's cool, and get rid of it. And so I had several of those plastic magic kits and didn't think much of it. But when I got a little bit older, around 16, I was watching a commercial. And I really don't remember if it was J.C. Penney's or Sears, but they had TV magic sets, and it was $7.50. And the guy would show a trick where, you know, you'd see his hands empty, and he'd put salt into his hands, and the salt would vanish. Then he'd make it reappear. Then he made a silk vanish and made it reappear. And I said, damn, I said, how the hell did he do that? So I ran down to the store, paid my $7.50. And basically, this is what you're able to do for $7.50. Okay. Your hands are empty. Whoops, I'm trying to get in the screen here. Close your hand up and place the silk into your hand just like that.
Yeah.
Try to speed this up. Okay. So now the silk is definitely in the hand. You still see it. And
Yeah.
just stick it in there a little bit more, and then pound it in there, there, and there. And now watch this. 1, 2, 3, and the silk is gone.
Woo.
Amazing. Okay, it's not here, not there. But watch this. So just reach up there and make it reappear, and that's what you got for $7.50. But it was well worth it. It was well worth it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How about you, Alex?
Well, I remember one of my earliest memories related to magic and mentalism is seeing Uri Geller in the 70s on television. Yeah. I remember my aunt and my grandmother, they were, my parents had gone out somewhere, and I was with my grandma and my aunt, and Uri Geller was on TV, and there was this energy around that whole presentation he was doing, making the broken clocks work. This was way back in the 70s, and bending spoons and things of that nature. I was fascinated by that. So growing up in Los Angeles, we used to go to Disneyland all the time. So anytime family and people visited us from out of town, Disneyland, And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was during the same time that Steve Martin worked at the magic shop at Main Street there in Disneyland, Yeah. But I remember going into that magic shop, and I was just absolutely fascinated. So every time I went to Disneyland, I had to go in the magic shop. But the very first time I went to a magic shop, I was shown a couple of things, and I made my parents get me a couple of things from there. And that's basically started my journey. So because Uri Geller was around that same time as well, what interested me most, even though I loved all that, levitation and appearing and disappearing things, it was more the I don't know, the weird, mysterious, psychic-y type stuff, So I kind of went towards, towards doing that kind of magic way early on. Now, of course, I did stuff with silks and things as a kid, but as I grew older, I just moved.
So you were sort of doing like what some of them do in Las Vegas today, because I lived, I don't know, Alex and I don't know each other that well, but I lived in Las Vegas for, how long did I live out there, Rick? 10 years.
Maybe,
a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I worked with Copperfield a couple of times on his shows as an assistant on stage. And I was always amazed that I once asked him, I said, David, I got to know, being the Greek guy that I am, why did you get into magic? He said, girls, Gary, girls. Girls.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Listen, a lot of the, I think a lot of the girlfriends, or I've been married twice, but the girlfriends and stuff. I mean, a lot of it was doing some of that mind reading stuff, and it's just an icebreaker. It's a cool ice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that everybody can do. I mean, and it probably is better than some crazy pickup line that it's probably been used so many times. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I want to remind everybody that we have Rick Delvecchio and Alex Teixeira on with us today, and they're here celebrating the art of magic. It's over 100 years of sharing the art of magic. They're having a dinner and magic show, as well as a comedy show, this Saturday, September 21st at Elks Lodge 1676, which is located at 6304 Southwest 78th Street in Miami at the Elks Lodge 1676. The admission is $55. And as I said, down here in the bottom of the program, we're going to have where you can go online, or you can call at 305-992-0703. If a man answers, you've got the right number, because he does all the time when I call, and he'll give you more information about how you can get the tickets. Can they buy the tickets at the door?
We'd like to have a head count by Wednesday, because we do have to tell the caterer how many folks are coming. So
Okay.
we prefer them they could RSVP, go online, RSVP, and just let them know we're coming. So we do have enough food for everybody, and we do accept at the door, but we would prefer to get the money before that, because
if I could, Rick, honest to God, if I could, I would come down there. You know that. I mean, because I love to watch you do magic. Alex, this man has introduced me to so many wonderful. Harry Anderson, to me, was the it for me, man. It was like, I guess David Copperfield or Harry Anderson or some of the other guys that are in Las Vegas. Is there a current gentleman that you could say is a Harry Houdini of this day?
Well, financially, Copperfield is the most successful magician that ever lived. And then next to him, you've got Lance Burton, who's retired, and Siegfried
Yeah.
Roy, of course, passed away. Those
Yeah.
three all were in the $100 million range in their careers. And then Harry Houdini, who was getting $50,000, $60,000 a year, that probably equates to about $1 million today, I would think, a year.
Yeah.
So, today, though, Copperfield is still like the number one guy, but you've got a ton of professional magicians that people don't know about it. Like you say, you ask the guy on the street, name 3 magicians. They'll probably all say Copperfield. Some may say Penn and Teller or Chris Angel or David Blaine. And then other than that, Harry Houdini always pops up, and he's been dead for over 100 years. So, the impact he made in his life is everlasting. People that weren't even born, have heard about this guy.
Wasn't he? This just came to my mind because Rick, I love to watch the History Channel and everything. Didn't Harry Houdini get into mysticism and the occult kind of magic that was going on? And he loved to go around like the gentleman who lived in, I forget his name now. He's real good. He was good friends with Penn Jillette, because I know Penn and I've talked about it a lot.
James Randi.
James Randi. He liked to go around Houdini and just
they were
find out who the phonies were.
Right. They were skeptics. And it's funny that you say that, because what Alex does, mentalism, which is, magic of the mind or psychic entertainment, the take on it with Randy and Houdini, again, they focused more toward the spiritualists, where they would take money from people. A widow would want to talk to her dead husband or vice versa. And Houdini thought that was fraudulent because he didn't believe that could be done.
Yeah.
Today, most of the entertainers, including Uri Geller, they say we're entertainers, and people believe what they want to believe. Let's face it, in this day and age, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google. If Alex wants to comment on this better.
Well, I just there's a lot of examples of this. I'll just give you one. Highly educated people, like a girlfriend who's still a good friend of mine today, Caroline. She, she studied in, important schools in England and everything. Well, she wants to believe, right? So it's a choice. She wanted to believe. She doesn't want any skeptic or anybody telling her, oh, this is all vague. This is not real. No, she wanted to believe in certain things, right? So a lot of times I find that it's a choice. The person finds that interesting. They like it. They want to believe it. That's it, And
I think also too, I think people love the entertainment part of it. I love to watch, when I can catch it, Penn and Teller have a show that's on TV where they have magicians on, and they try to guess, if they can guess how they did the magic trick and everything. I had lunch with them once. Rick, I've never told you this story, but when I first got to Las Vegas, I got to meet I knew Penn Jillette. I didn't know the other guy, but I got to sit and talk to him, and the other guy was quiet for the first 10 minutes. Now, I knew he talked in real life, but he was quiet for the first 10 minutes. And then the waitress came over and said something, and he said something back, and she goes, "Oh my God, he talks." It was like, but they were both great guys. They really are down to earth. They came up the hard way. Is that the way it is even for magicians in the show business? It's like, you really got to come up the pecking order the hard way.
Yeah. You've been in show business. It's tough. It's funny, a real quick story about show business in general. When I was a kid, like we all were, where you watch these movies, and, in my mind, boy, wouldn't it be cool to be a movie star? And, in my mind, I thought these people had to have family members in that business. You had to know somebody. And I actually believed that up until I'm watching, I don't remember what movie it was, but I see Alec Baldwin. And I go, wait a minute, Alec Baldwin. And then his brother, Billy Baldwin, and Stephen Baldwin. Yeah. Their dad was a school teacher at my school, Alexander Baldwin. He was a Marine in World War II. Unfortunately, he got stomach cancer, died in the mid-70s, but I knew their dad. I never met them. I said, okay, their dad was a school teacher. They didn't have any inside track. So show business, whether it's acting, singing, advertising, magic, mentalism, or whatever,
Yeah.
matter of hard work, getting a good act down, and then auditioning, and just plugging away until you finally
Right.
get hired. And again, there's some luck, but I don't want to say luck because people make their own luck by working hard.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Bob Parenti, who passed away several years ago, was head of film and entertainment for the city of Miami, and he was a professional photographer, videographer. And my wife had a friend from Italy, and she had two beautiful young daughters, twins. And she asked, "Oh, can your friend take their pictures?" So he took their pictures, gave them headshots, and then they said, "What do you need to do to succeed?" And he says, "Take your daughters to every casting call, and there's publications you could subscribe to that'll show this commercial.
Yeah.
You go to every casting call, and after you were turned down 150 times, you turn up for that 152nd time, and get there early. And when it comes to a point where the directors are saying, well, what about this girl? Well, I like that girl, but these two girls, you know what? They're as pretty, and they show up every time. They're reliable. Let's give them a shot." And that's how it is. The reality.
For those
off.
For those of you that are wondering what that is on the bottom, that's the website where you can go if you want to participate in the Magic Show dinner this weekend, September 21st at Elks Lodge, 1676. Admission is $55, and I think it's really great. It's a magic show. It's a comedy show. Alex Teixeira, who is the image voice of this program, as well as the president of Ring 45. I love that, Ring 45. He is going to be doing some close-up magic in the bar, so belly up to the bar. Now, Rick, you know my story. I grew up with Beverly McDermott's son, Rick.
Right.
So in the summertime, I would be doing Tony Rome movies as an extra or working on the crew behind the scenes. I got and show business, Alex, show business was not anything I thought of. That is not where I wanted to go. And he's sitting right next to you. Tell the audience and Alex, what did I really want to do in life?
Pilot.
I wanted to be an airline pilot like my father.
Yeah.
But math and me never got along very well. Now, I flew in the Air Force, but it didn't need a lot of math for what I did. But, and it's true, you don't have to be related to anybody anymore. But I will tell you this much. I saw a recent interview with Meryl Streep on TV, and she said, there are 1,000 women out there that are just as talented as me, just as pretty as me, just as good as I will ever be. Nobody has seen them. They haven't been in the right place at the right time. And they just, or when they did get the chance, something happened. But anyway, I want to get on to some other things. Who were your favorite magicians growing up? I mean, who were the guys after you started to do magic? Who were the guys that you said, I'm going to emulate this person, or I'm going to eliminate that person? Who were they for you two?
Well, for me, of course, the magicians on TV, it was Mark Wilson, the Magical Land of Alakazam, and he was an illusionist, basically, a very good one.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
And he was one of the first guys to have a syndicated television show nationwide. And then back then, but then on TV, and I never cared to be a stage performer. One, you got to have the money to buy all those illusions and store them and whatnot. But I always liked the close-up magic. And watching Tony Slidini on Dick Cavett or Di Vernon on Dick Cavett, these were older guys, but boy, could they do close-up magic and sleight of hands with coins and cards, and that's what attracted me. And then in the late 60s, I met a guy named Bob Gabriel. He was in a flea market, which back then, it was brand new where I was living on Long Island. I walk into this place, flea market. What the hell's a flea market? It was an indoor flea market. And the first booth on my right, it said Magic Castle. Has nothing to do with the Magic Castle in California.
Yeah.
It was just a guy with a 10 by 10 little booth. He's packed with people. And he was doing a cups and ball routine. It was amazing. And then after that, a half dozen people were buying sets of cups and balls from him. And of course, I go up and I said to him, "Are you a magician?" He goes, "No, I'm an effing plumber." And, that's how we met. And I started buying some stuff. they had a, I know, and they had a place, Don Esposito's Magic Studio in Rockville Center, Long Island. And I started going there on Saturdays, and he would run the place. He saw I was getting serious, and I would watch him perform. And I said, "How do I learn your stuff?" And he sold me J.B. Bobo's book on modern coin magic. It's like the Bible. And I started reading that and learning from the book. In fact, I know you were going to ask me this, we're jumping ahead, but today, kids learn on YouTube. And, that's okay, except you'll never learn how to really perform magic by copying it on YouTube. Read a book, study from guys like Alex and me, join these clubs, because believe it or not, we have a lot to offer. It's because it's not just learning how to do the trick.
Right.
Like, you remember when The Masked Magician came out years ago?
Yeah.
Dee Moss from the Miami Herald called me up because back then I was the president of Ring 45. And she says, "What do you think of this Masked Magician guy?" And I said, "Well, B, I'm against it because the rule of magic is if you want to be a magician, you got to take an oath not to explain how tricks are done. Because it's tantamount to telling a kid there's no such thing as Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny." I said, reality is how the trick is done isn't really the main thing. It's the presentation. And I said, in music, any moron could go into a music shop and buy the lyrics to My Way. How many of them sing it like Frank Sinatra? Yet, you know this, Gary, you've worked in nightclubs. How many of these lounge singers always finish with My Way, and 90% of them you'll laugh your ass off. Come on, give me a break.
They're too young.
Yeah. But, again, so presentation, find a magic trick, learn it from a book, and then put your own presentation behind it,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what it's about. But, that's
That's
my
how
take.
a lot of magicians end up appreciating other magicians' work, because we know a lot of information. We've read a lot of books. We've studied with a lot of different people over the years. So when we see a fellow performer doing something, not always, and I enjoy not knowing, because there's certain things Rick does that I don't know how he does it. And there are other magicians that do things, and some I perform things that people, don't know what I'm doing. And to me, that's always nice. I enjoy not knowing because, it's a little bonus for me.
Yeah.
But magicians appreciate other magicians' performances. So we don't really, when we're watching other performers, we don't really care about the actual effect, the actual secret to the thing. It's a lot of times we know what the secret is. It's how it's performed. That makes the difference. And we appreciate that when we see other performers.
We've talked a little bit about magic. We talked a little bit about this, but now let's talk about the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
Sure.
What is your group? I know, and Rick, you are, and I don't know, Alex, if you are a member of the Elks Club or not. I'm not sure.
He is.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sort of a semi-member if Rick lets me. But what is the International Brotherhood of Magicians all about?
Okay. It was formed in 1922 by three fellas, Len Vintus, Gene Gordon, and of course I forgot the third guy. But they just started because Len Vintus was from Canada. Gene Gordon was from Rochester, New York, in the Buffalo, Rochester area. And it was just a way to, to communicate. And, then they started the International Brotherhood of Magicians, and then they opened up the first club in Buffalo and in Rochester, rather. And then the headquarters now is in St. Louis. But today, we're in over 88 countries, have over 15,000 members worldwide, and it's the largest magic organization in the world. And you talked about Ring 45. Local clubs are called rings. In magic, there's an old trick called the linking rings, where they took steel rings and they would magically connect. So the linking rings, they call the clubs rings because just like the linking rings, the clubs are united in fellowship. in the same, keep the art of magic alive, learn it, promote it, and
Right.
the magic. So that's why it's called Rings. And like I said, we're in 88 countries, 15,000 members. And, what's impressive, we're the largest organization. There's another one, which is the oldest, is the Society of American Magicians. And that was formed in 1902. And that's the oldest organization. And I'm a life member of both. And Alex is a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. I know that for sure. But,
How does someone become a member?
okay, basically, you could just go online and put in magicians.org. That'll take you to the International Brotherhood of Magicians website, and they have applications. But they also will tell you, based on your zip code, where's the closest club. And most clubs encourage people to come to their meetings first time out, free of charge, no pressure, just to get a feel for it. And then one of those people will sponsor you, get to talk to you. And you don't have to be a professional magician. It's hobbyists, collectors, people that are fans of magic and magic enthusiasts, part-time professionals, and of course, full-time professionals, managers. Alex and I are both what you would call part-time professionals, because I'm in advertising, as you know that, and Alex, as you mentioned, is a voiceover actor. And that, we talk about show business. How long have you been doing that, Alex?
Well, I started in radio when I was 19, so it's a long time ago.
Yeah, and like you started in radio also, I believe, or the comedy clubs. But and then Alex he's worked for BBC, MGM, Netflix, Discovery, AMC, and people have heard his voice because he's a voiceover actor, but they may not have seen him on screen. But he's voiced over a lot of series. With the World War II, the history of World War II was one of them.
History Channel stuff, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
I did some voiceover work for when they had the aviation channel for. I did because the main producer knew that I knew a lot about airplanes. Talk about the Miami club, where it's located, and what are some of the benefits of being part of this organization?
Sure. 5. We've been around for 78 years. It was formed in 1945, and right now, for the last 17 years, we've been meeting at the South Miami Coral Gables Elks Lodge. We found a home there. Before that, we met at different restaurants. And before the restaurants, we actually met at a elementary school for several years. When I first joined in Miami in 1992, that's where we were meeting. It was the Coral Gables Elementary School on Granada. And we met the Coral Gables Country Club. And we met there for several years. And then the Polish American Club. And after that, there was a variety of restaurants, but then we found a home through a fellow member, Jim Price, who was also a member of the Elks Lodge. And then we joined, and then over the years, several of the magicians joined the Elks because it made sense. Let's support the Elks. And it's been a great community relationship because the Elks is a nonprofit organization. They're a fraternal organization, but they do a lot of charitable work. And Alex and I are involved heavily. Alex is a trustee. I'm the secretary and a past president. And I write grants for the Elks Lodge, and we help out homeless veterans. And we're also working with the University of Miami Center for Autistic and Related Disability card program. Yes.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my school. I must say, I'm very proud. By the way, the reason we have these two gentlemen on, Alex Teixeira and Rick Del Vecchio, is this upcoming Saturday, September 21st, they have the dinner, the magic show and comedy show called The Art of Magic, celebrating over 100 years of sharing the art of magic throughout this world. The dinner will be beginning at 6 o'clock. It'll be September 21st at the Elks Lodge 1676 at 6304 Southwest 78th Street in Miami. The admission price is $55. You can go right there to the bottom of the screen and go online. At the website, we wanted to put the QR code up, but it just isn't working so well. Or you can dial up 305-992-0703 and get more information about it. And when the gentleman When the gentleman answers the phone, ask him where the Swedish meatballs are, and he'll point you in the right direction. So it's an inside joke. Excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about who, what is some of the benefits of being a member, and how much does it cost, or what's the initiation to become a member of the Miami Magic Club? Excuse me.
Yeah.
Alex, you ought to be like Gary. You got to be able to learn how to speak here.
Well, I run into my problems, believe me.
Oh, have you ever gone into? Speaking of voiceovers, I went into a studio once, and I couldn't. I kept saying Sherman Williams. The commercial was for Sherwin-Williams, the paint company, and I got stuck in my brain with Sherman Williams. Finally, the producer said, "All right, Gary, I know you're better than this. Go grab a soda, go outside for 5 minutes. I got a couple of phone calls to make. Come back in." We did a one take, and then we did a couple of free takes, and I never said Sherman again until when I think about it. But sometimes when something gets stuck in your head, it stays there.
Yeah.
It will stay there. Oh my God. It's like a tune you hear before you go to bed, and you can't go to sleep because you hear it over and over and over and over again. What are some of the benefits of being part of the lodge, and what does the membership initiation dues and all the good stuff?
Okay. Now, in the International Brotherhood of Magicians, it's $80 a year for an adult and $60 for a junior, which is 7 to 17. And then locally, our club charges $30 a year. Now, the benefits, number one, you get to hang around with folks that have been doing magic. I mean, in my case, I started professionally in 73 and started as an amateur in like the 60s. So, and Alex has been doing it for 30, 40 years. So you got old timers, if you want, that have a lot of knowledge in all the different types of magic. And our club, through mentors like myself and Alex, we have, I believe, 8 or 9 members that went on to be world champions of the IBM. One of our members, Jason Ace, when he was 12 years old back in 1992, he won the stage competition for juniors. And his mentor was a former member of our lodge. His name was Ricardo Racao. That was his real name. His stage name was Fantasio. And Fantasio was from Buenos Aires, Argentina. He came to the States in the 60s, make a name for himself here. And he, just to give you a little background on him, he performed at the Stardust Hotel, one of the first magicians to perform in Vegas, long before David Copperfield, obviously. In fact, he was a mentor to David Copperfield. There's pictures of him when David was 10 years old. He met him in New York at Tannen's Magic studio. But down here in Miami, he lived in Coral Gables since the 60s, and he's been a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, our club, Ring 45, long before I met him. But he mentored Jason, and Jason went on to win a world champion at the age of 12. Phenomenal act. Jason today, and for the past 4 or 5 years, has been working for David Copperfield, and he's in Copperfield's show, and he's performed in over 3,000 shows so far. So he's ecstatic. He's found his calling, if you will. And we have other, like I say, performers that are making full-time livings doing magic. One type of magic that Alex and I don't specialize in is children's magic shows, but there's a lot of guys nationwide, worldwide, that make a damn good living doing birthday parties for kids, And it's not that we don't want to, it's just that our type of magic isn't really that conducive to young kids. It's more like, young adults and over, anywhere from maybe 16 to 100. But
when we talk about magicians and we talk about young people learning the art of magic, what are some of the skill sets that one needs to have in order to progress and to have some success at it, other than the want to be? Because there's a lot of people who want to be a surgeon or want to be a lawyer, but they don't have the necessary basic skill sets. What does it take? I would imagine your hands have got to be very flexible. I'm looking for another word here, but I presume dexterity has got to be extremely important.
Sure. Well, again, the beauty of magic, if somebody wants to get involved, there's so many different branches of magic. For like the dexterity comes with the sleight of hand that I do, like to make a coin appear or disappear, or even the handkerchief appear and disappear. It's all sleight of hand. Grand illusion, you don't need as much dexterity. You need to, have illusions and then know how to present them in an entertaining way. And with Alex, you need really power of the mind. Okay. Now, you can learn how to manipulate. In fact, Alex will tell you more about that than I would if you want to chime in on that.
Well, the thing is that with magic, first of all, is your interest, right? If you're, it depends on what you're interested in. And then, of course, depending on what branch of magic you're interested in, whether it's, bizarre magic or mentalism or stage magic or close-up magic with cards, is, your dexterity. But there's stuff there for every level. I mean, if you want to do close-up magic, there's close-up magic that you can do that is practically all presentation. It's the actual mechanics, the actual skill to do the thing is not difficult at all. It's within reach of almost everybody, but it's how you then present that. You know, so
I would guess
there's all.
I would guess that it's like anything else. There are certain people in show business that were born to be actors. Meryl Streep. They were born to be comedians, even though he didn't start out to be a comedian. Robin Williams, my dear friend, or other people that are born for it. I mean, like certain pilots my father flew with in World War II. He said they were born to fly. He said, I just learned the basics and went off to war and came home and everything was fine. Are there magicians like a David Copperfield, David Blaine, Siegfried? Are these men, are the women out there? Because that's another question. Are there a lot of women in the business, but are they born to do this? And all they do is keep practicing, like someone playing the guitar. They practice after school for hours and hours and hours and hours.
It's whatever your passion is, right? Because if you have a passion for it, you'll find the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But are they born? Is there something instinctive though, Alex, about certain types of people that are born to do this and do that, and it comes a little tiny bit easier, even though they put in the hard work?
I would say you hit it. Alex, I think, hit on it. It's what you and your mind want to do. You mentioned women. A lot of women. There's a lot of women now in magic that, again, they're not household names yet because they're still struggling to get to the Copperfield level, which is always what you want to do, is go for the best. But even with those folks, in their mind, they decided, I want to do this, and now the work comes in. It's the same thing. Golf. Anybody can learn how to play golf, but how good are you going to be? I can tell you, I used to play in golf tournaments with Bob Poller and our crew and we won second place tournaments, but we played best ball. Why? Because we sucked at it, but we always had one stringer and that was a girl named Kelly Williams. This girl's about 4'10". She was a great golfer. And with best ball, you have 4 guys on a team, and best ball means the other 3 guys play from whoever had the best drive, then the next guy. So, I tried golf. I was no good at golf, but I didn't have the passion that, say, a Tiger Woods had from the time he was 3 and worked at it. I think it's just a mindset of what you want to do. And if you want to be a magician, as Alex said, then you want to sacrifice the time.
I'll give you a quick example, like using music. You don't need to be the best guitarist technically to be very, very good. If you play if you compose music, if you play these beautiful chords, or it's the way you produce your music, maybe you're not very technically maybe you're somewhat technically challenged, you're not as fast as everybody else, or you can't play those classical pieces on the guitar, but yet you're doing maybe even simple chords, but it's how you put them together. Same thing with magic. You may not have the total dexterity or the skill to be able to do something, but then
it's the presentation. It's the presentation.
Gary,
by the way, real quick, this came to mind here while you were talking. How about the quick change people that you see on TV? Are they magicians?
They're in the magic world because what they're doing is magical. There's no doubt about it. And we had a couple here, Sixto and oh gosh, I forgot the girl's name, beautiful young lady. They were on America's Got Talent, made it about 4 into the 4th or 5th show. Phenomenal. But since then, some of these quick change artists on TV are phenomenal. I mean, I have a basic understanding how it's done.
Yeah.
Because some people with me, but even knowing how it's done, as Alex said, just to watch the presentation. But what we'd like to do, Gary, do you have anything, a ring or a quarter on you? Alex will do a little presentation of
I have all I got is this, man, and this in my glasses.
Take the cap off of that. It's something that'll fit your hand.
All right.
Now just follow what Alex has to tell you.
I don't know if this will work because we're over the internet, but I'd like to try and experiment with you, Gary. You can put that cap down. You can put it into one. I can't see on the screen which hand do you have that cap in, but I want you to put that cap in one of your hands.
Okay, I got it right here. It's in my left hand.
But don't tell me.
You put it down below the screen and don't put it in either your left or right hand, but don't let us know which one it is.
I'm just going to try a long distance sort of experiment here. Works best if we're in person. I want you to, the first decision I want you to make is that I want you to choose whether you're going to be a hero or a villain. Okay, don't tell me. A hero always tells the truth, and a villain will always lie. So I want you to decide, because I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things, and I want you to decide if you're always going to tell the truth throughout this experiment or you're going to lie throughout the experiment. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So choose one of those. And now, just to calibrate, okay, right now, just to calibrate, because I need to connect with you. I want you to put that cap in one of your hands. Okay. Hide it in one of your hands. Okay.
Okay.
Now put your hands up on the screen like this so I can see them.
Wait, here we go. Okay, there we go.
Is it in your right hand? Is the cap in your right hand? You can tell me whatever. You're not in character yet. Is it in your right hand? This is just for me to calibrate. Open your right hand. Open your right hand. Okay, so this is good news. This is good news. Now I want you to go into that character. No, you can put it back down. Put your hands back down. You can go into character now because we're going to begin now. That was just for me to calibrate. And I do have a connection with you here. So you're either going to be a hero and tell the truth, or you're going to be a liar and lie throughout the rest of this experiment. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and put that cap in one of your hands. Okay. Don't tell me which. Just put it into one of your hands. Now, I don't want you to show me. I just want you to tell me in character. You're either going to tell me the truth or you're going to lie. If that cap is currently in your right hand.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, remain in character, whatever character you decided. I want you to now switch hands, switch that object to the other hand. Now, of course, if you chose to be the hero, you're going to tell me the truth. If you chose to be the villain, you're going to lie. But you're going to switch the item to the other hand. Okay. Now, again, remaining in character, I'm going to ask you one question. Did you switch the item?
Yes.
Okay, Gary. I don't know if this will work. Hopefully it will work. I get the feeling that you're not a very good liar. You're not a good liar, and you almost always tell the truth. I think, put your hands up into the camera. I think the item is in your left hand.
You're right.
Okay. So that's just like a brief little experiment and trying to connect and connect with you. But it's hard to do over the internet, but that works.
That's hey, listen, it's fun. It's a whole lot of stuff. we've got about another 10 minutes to go here. Yeah, well, I mean, I
Right.
control the vertical and the horizontal,
Right.
I mean, and that takes us back. Have either of you performed in front of anybody famous that we would know, like a certain president, Mr. Delvecchio?
Well, yeah. Alex did. Alex performed
Oh,
for Jimmy Carter. Yeah, Jimmy Carter and his family and the entire Secret Service.
Yeah, I performed for the Secret Service, which was interesting because I figured they would be very perceptive to certain things, but magic and mentalism is magic and mentalism, right? That's
right.
not what the Secret Service studies. So I have performed a few times for the Secret Service and a couple of times for President Carter and family.
Yeah. Yeah. I had dealings with the Secret Service when I was in the Air Force. I was based at Andrews, and I'm not going to get into it, but Rick will tell you after the show. And I always found them very interesting, but they're different today, Secret Service, than they were when I was in the Air Force back in the 70s. They're a little different today than how they were back then. They were extremely strict, and they didn't smile a whole lot when I was when I was there for Nixon. That was for darn sure. What's your favorite magic trick?
Mine?
Either one of you or both of you.
Well, my favorite, what I do, if you want to see something, let me see if I can. I want my hands there.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing. I don't have any sleeves. Correct. All right.
Yes, as far as I know.
Now, when I do this coin magic that I do, and I love doing coin magic, what I tell people is I don't hide anything up my sleeves because I don't have any sleeves, but I use pockets to hide the coins. I have shirt pockets, pants pockets, jacket pockets, and air pockets. Now, you flew in planes, you flew helicopters, and if you're flying around and you hit an air pocket, the plane could drop,
Yeah, could
1,000 feet.
could bounce up and down.
Yeah, and down here, they have air pockets too, but thank God they're about that big. Otherwise, we'd be losing people left and right. If I could find an air pocket, and I think I see one right about here, and if I just reach into that air pocket, I could pull out a coin like that. Okay. Now, what's amazing is that I could take this one coin that I had and then reach up and pull out a second coin. All right.
Rick, if you keep doing that enough, you could pay our rent.
You ain't kidding. So I'll put them here. You got the one, you got two, correct?
Right.
So, yeah, you can see them, right?
Yeah, I see them.
And then I'm going to place this one here. So we got two there. And then I'm going to take a third one. So we have 1, 2, and 3, correct?
Right.
Let me see. I'm going to make sure everybody sees the 3 coins. Now I'm going to take one of the coins and I'm going to place that back into the air pocket like that.
Uh-huh.
Right. Then I'm going to take the second coin and place that into the air pocket. The third coin, and I'm going to place it into my hand.
Yeah.
And into the air pocket. And I know what you're thinking. No, it's not there either. They're all gone.
No.
Gone. So,
no.
And that's basically sleight of hand in the camera, no sleeves, and just takes a little bit of practice.
Now, I want to make a quick comment here because it's one thing. People want to watch magic. They can go on YouTube. They can go, whatever, and just watch magic for hours, for days on end. But there is a significant difference to seeing a magician live in person.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different vibe. It's more interactive. You get to really experience this stuff, right? So I love live magic, live mentalism, or whatever, live, that kind of live entertainment. And it makes a big difference. A lot of people see it on TV or YouTube or whatever. And if they haven't seen it live, because believe it or not, a lot of people have not seen a live magician, somebody right in front of them doing something for them, they need to experience that.
Yeah. No, I saw a live magician when I got my divorce. Believe me, I did.
Terrifying. That must have been terrifying.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys very much. You have been exciting and to have on the program. The International Brotherhood of Magicians is throwing an event this weekend. It's called The Art of Magic, celebrating over 100 years of sharing the art of magic. It's a dinner with a magic show and a comedy show combined, September 21st at Elks Lodge 1676, located at 6304 Southwest 78th Street in Miami. Again, at the Elks Lodge 1676. Admission is $55. Go online, www.ring45.com/shop/ and then, or you can go, there's also going to be, I believe, the QR cube there, as well as you can also call at 305-992-0703 for more information. I want to thank the president of Ring 45, Rick Teixeira. Thank you so very much, sir, for taking the time to come on Main Street. And to Rick Del Vecchio, my brother in crime, as well as the executive producer of this program and one of the nicest Swedish meatball makers that God ever put on earth. And also, again, I want to also thank the Japanese Garden for their continued support of this particular program right here on Main Street. And I want you guys just remain right there. And I want to thank all of you out there for taking the time to join us. They'll be putting this show up on YouTube either tomorrow or Wednesday, and you can be able to see it again. And I hope you all have a great time. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other.
Take care, guys.
Cool. I have to get
Hey,
going.
good here for you guys?